Hi guys! So, today what we are doing is we are going to react to parents panic when cops discover their feces covered house of horrors. And this is from Explore With Us body cam.
See that window right there? You see how it's kind of like hard to see through? It's kind of like got stuff smeared on it.
They're just in there by themselves, which is probably why they're smearing poop on the wall. In this kind of situation is absolutely astronomically unacceptable.
No!
When officers with the Oklahoma City Police Department show up at this door on September 12, 2024, they have no idea what horrors they will encounter inside.
Okay, the first thing I'm going to say is that, as we've seen with other situations, it's really sad to see that clearly things haven't been followed up for a long time, or there has to be something going on for like these kind of people to have gotten a house into this kind of state. It makes me worry about, is it because child welfare, for example, might be so short-staffed they weren't able to check frequently enough on family like this, and because of that it's got into this situation.
The man they're talking to is 24-year-old Dakota Dodd.
We have a wellness check.
His first move is to grab some shorts and call his wife, who is none too happy about the news.
What?
Okay,
Yeah.
so your kids are upstairs, you said?
They're upstairs. We've been trying to paint the rooms because they keep smearing crap on the walls.
He's blaming this on the kids. It doesn't feel like something you naturally would do.
So we're just here to make sure the kids are okay.
Yeah, they're perfectly okay. I can go get them down.
Can I come with you?
Yeah. What's wrong, boys? We were hurt.
I'm sorry, but the state of that. Sometimes I think I'm messy, and then I see things like this and I'm like, thank God I don't live like that. Like, for example, my aunt just gave me like carpet cleaner. I've got my like air conditioning unit. I found that I need to get rid of. Like, there's some stuff in my hallway. I try to keep it to one side so you've got like enough space, but I still clean around them. You know, I'm still like hoovering. I don't just have rubbish just on the stairs.
But we've been trying to keep the room safe.
When was the last time that was hoovered? Seriously. I know if there's shit covered on walls and doors and windows and shit, this is going to be a lot worse. But if you've got children, they pick up everything, every germ as well.
Hey boys, come on.
I'd be worried about mice and rats actually as well. Some of that look like food.
Hi, guys. What are you doing? Come downstairs for me, okay?
Yeah, we're gonna go to the shower. But they keep smearing on the walls.
You shut your kids in a room, looks like on their own, and there's shit on the walls. There is a lot more going on than just this.
So,
We've been trying to keep painted up and everything.
okay.
Two boys, 3 and 4 respectively, emerge from this foreboding room without a stitch of clothing. The officer notes in her report that both kids are extremely dirty and covered in feces.
They're just in there by themselves, which is probably why they're smearing poop on the wall.
We have a camera right there.
Uh-huh.
We're always checking up on them.
Okay.
It looks like one of those kind of rooms that you see, I've seen before, where if there's kids that's being mistreated or like punished, especially by a step parent or something like that, and they're neglected and malnourished and underfed and only fed like, leftovers and things like that. I've seen this type of room before and it never ends well.
We'll make sure they eat 3 soy meals a day.
The fact that he has to say that's not something you would naturally just think. The fact that you feel like you have to say that, put in red flags immediately.
Yeah.
As Dakota's wife Aubriana panics on the phone downstairs, the officer delivers the understatement of the morning.
You guys like kind of in over your head, maybe?
I mean, I work at nights.
Okay.
The wife is taking care of the boys.
I work at nights, but why does that explain why you were at home? Looked like in the front room while the kids were upstairs. I mean, from what I can see, there's not a huge amount of furniture in that room. Possibly locked in a room on their own. This looks really bad. And this is without the poop smeared on the walls.
Sure.
Where is she at?
She's currently getting her glasses.
Okay. Well, come on back downstairs for me.
Is that another word for drugs? Because I can't understand why anyone would want to live like this.
Yeah, it's poop. We can try to get painted, and we can try to use a rug doctor because they keep trying to get them potty trained.
Mm-hmm. How long have they been in that room?
So they were supposed to be taking a nap.
Where are they supposed to be napping at? There's not a bed in here.
What did I say? That there looked like there was very little furniture in there, and that is very similar to how I've seen child neglect and abuse cases, where they lock them in a room and they have to sit on the floor and do nothing. Like, smearing shit on the walls is very much like a defiant gesture from a child.
They tore it apart yesterday.
They tore it apart yesterday. So where is it? Because I can guarantee you wouldn't have thrown it away. There's rubbish all over the fucking stairs.
The autistic one likes to tear apart their beds.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had to throw them both out.
Mm-hmm.
My brother just sent me money. I'm actually going to be, once my wife gets home, buy some beds.
In her report, the officer notes that the door frame to the room is torn up from the inside, suggesting that the boys had possibly attempted to claw their way out.
That sounds like they were left in there for days before. That's what animals do.
That detail, combined with a smell that police describe as overwhelming, may explain the look on her face when she returns downstairs.
Yeah, this one they keep tearing up the mattresses.
Uh-huh. Can we turn it start this way, please?
Yeah, I've never seen anything like that, or probably smell anything like that before.
Do we have some pants or something we can put on them?
Yeah, I got it.
As the officers try to come to terms with what they're seeing, Dakota struggles to find the children's clothing before finally asking his wife for help.
Hey, baby, where's the kids' clothes?
You home in a few.
That's not the answer I need.
The fact that you don't know where your kid's clothes is, even if it's your stepkids, like, why don't they have a drawer with their stuff in? You want to come in. Don't scratch. No scratches in this house.
It takes Dakota 4 solid minutes to find clothing that the police would later describe as very large for the children. But as he dresses the kids, his wife doesn't seem to approve.
What's going on?
I'm dressed.
Why?
I just told you why.
Because they're butt naked and they need some clothes on.
Okay.
There's something wrong with that mum. Do you want to come up?
In her report, one of the officers notes that when she opened a downstairs closet, she was immediately covered in cockroaches.
Didn't I say the fact there was crap all over those stairs? I feel like there's going to be mice or something. And yeah, cockroaches is not far off. Do you want to go up? No, I just want attention.
Another officer observes the large amount of flies in the home. It's clear at this point that the officers have seen enough.
So flies are attracted to feces. It's like they'll lay maggots and stuff in those. That's really scary.
All right. How about you? Outside with my partner, okay?
Do you have any weapons or anything on you?
No, just my phone.
Just turn around. Put your hands behind your back.
Come on.
I'm placing you under arrest for child endangerment and neglect, sir.
What? Why do they always act shocked? Did you see what your home looked like? Like, the only way that you think that is acceptable is if you are so fucking numb to it. Yeah?
What?
Yeah.
Wait till your wife turns up.
You're their father, right?
I'm their stepdad.
You're their stepdad. Well, you're the one that's responsible right now for their welfare and everything, right?
They were butt naked, locked in a room with no beds, and they were covered in shit. Why are you shocked?
Yes, they were supposed to be taking a nap.
Huh?
They were supposed to be taking a nap.
They were supposed to be taking a nap?
Yes.
In a room that's covered in feces with no furniture?
I already...
Okay, well, you know, I'm not questioning you or anything like that right now.
I actually had somebody who I used to know where there was a family member or a friend or something who was looking after their kid. Like, they had a kid, like, quite young. They were a little worried about if this kid was being possibly neglected, or at least just not bathed enough, because they'd come to their house, like, you know, after nursery or whatever it was, and their hair would be greasy, and they would still seem to have the same... I can't really remember the full details. Certain things, it was pretty clear that there was a possibility that they hadn't bathed this child since, like, the day before or whatever. Or a couple of days before, I can't remember. I can't remember if it was once a week or, like, every other day or every day, but they saw this person. But either way, what they did was they drew a little pen mark. I can't remember if it was on the child's back, or if it was like on the nappy, just to make sure it had been changed. And it was just like a tiny little thing, whether it was like, say it was the next day or whether it was like the next couple of weeks. Like when they next saw them, they checked and that X was still there, so they contacted child services. And when they and the family, their parents or whatever, who knew these people that reported them, they had a go at them about it, because God forbid they should take accountability for their actions. Because this was also, I remember the person who I knew them from at the time said that when they went into their flat, there was bottles everywhere. There was glasses like covered in like fur. I'm talking like, you know, mold fur, like it had grown, and they had to have their mum come and clean up once a week because they refused to clean up their own flat where their kid was. So they'd seen what this flat looked like, then they'd seen that they possibly washing their kid, did a test to be sure of it, and then contacted child services because they needed the wake-up call. And it worked, by the way. But the fact that everyone had disowned these people, but for contacting child services because they were clearly neglecting their kid, it just astounds me. Like, what? Just because you know that person doesn't mean that they're a good person. Like, they were too young to have a kid. They were too fucking young. And because of that, they needed the wake-up call that you need to stop smoking weed all the time and drinking and actually take care of yourself and your family. You guys made the choice to have a fucking kid. Be responsible adults, because that's what you are now. Anyway.
Dakota has one remaining question, but the officer has more immediate concerns.
You called on us.
Huh?
You called on me.
See what I mean? It is always, well, who ratted me out? Not fuck the consequences of my action. No responsibility at all.
In the meantime, Dakota's wife Aubriana arrives at the house with their 11-month-old daughter and her mother in tow. And if she was anxious over the phone, the police quickly let her know she was right to be worried.
Wow, that mouth purse that she just did, she's pissed the police are there.
The fact that kids live in this kind of situation is absolutely astronomically unacceptable. So, outside. I don't care about the cat.
That's mean. At least her mum's there, so like...
Yeah, it's better off outside.
True.
You not told us about the clean.
Wait, what did she say?
Told us about the clean.
That doesn't happen like that. That takes days or weeks or possibly even months.
Those are your babies. Those are your babies.
I wouldn't let my animals live in something like that, let alone a fucking child. I mean, my animals are my children.
Do you not cry to me?
I'm not crying. I'm crying for my damn children.
Then why didn't you do anything? Why have you allowed... This is the thing, it's not just the room they were in. The stairs were covered in shit. The whole entire fucking front room, you couldn't move for like crap everywhere. And she brought home an 11-month-old. So she has 3 kids. Why do I feel like the 11-month-old is likely the stepdad's, and that's why he locks the other 2 kids away? Just a thought, because again, I've seen that before.
I literally couldn't even stand in that room.
I've been telling him to clean it. I'm trying, Mommy!
The fact that she's screaming for her mummy whilst her own children were locked inside a room covered in shit, naked.
Okay, Mom is out here, or Grandma.
Sitting in another patrol car, her husband seems baffled by his arrest.
I just got home.
God, these 2 are fucking pathetic.
Can you at least tell me what's gonna happen? Or what? Who called it in? Something, please.
Don't touch his stuff. Don't you dare touch my son's stuff.
Don't you dare touch my son's stuff. Again, is that the 11-month-old or is that the boys upstairs? Because if it's the boys upstairs, you clearly weren't that fucked about their condition. Like, they could have got seriously sick up there.
No! 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 My babies! Can I at least give them one last hug before I leave?
They're covered in shit right now.
Don't even talk to me right now.
The officer's apparent disgust is reflected in her report, where she describes the way the carpet in the boys' room crunched as she walked.
This is what I'm saying. Okay, I'm going to read a little bit of this. So I noted the camera he mentioned in the far northeast corner of the room. He continued to make spontaneous defensive utterances like, we make sure they eat 3 square meals a day, and telling me that the boys were supposed to be taking a nap despite not having any beds or bedding in the room to sleep with. Dakota said he works at night as a response to my asking if maybe they were in over their head with trying to care for the boys, and continued on telling me that his wife cares for the boys during the day while he sleeps. I asked where she was since it was midday, and he said she was at an appointment to get glasses. The smell coming from the room was overwhelming, and after attempting to enter the room, I had to step down a few steps, get enough of a break to turn around and enter the room where the boys had been. I was answering Dakota as he continued to speak, but was having to do so by answering with minimalistic answers like, in order to keep my mouth shut to avoid from retching. I entered the room, was hit with a stench of urine and feces that was so strong I struggled to not vomit. There was feces all over the walls, floors, built-in sink and windows. The door frame by where I entered was torn up from the inside at approximately 2 feet by the doorknob, indicating to me the boys had at some point attempted to claw their way out of the room. The carpet in the room crunched as I walked and was completely hard with dried up feces and other unknown filth. There was a few stuffed animals in the room and a toy slide, all of which were covered in feces. The dried feces on the walls and doors had scratches in it, and I noticed that there were visible child-sized handprints all over. I exited the room and went back downstairs to where the boys were with Dakota and my partner, Officer Hanson. Both boys seemed to be developmentally delayed, not speaking or acting as one would expect children that age to act. Blank stood and just looked around while Blank sat at the table. Their behaviours led me to think that they did not spend much time in this area of the home. What did I say? Likely being locked away in that room. Neither boy was able to tell me their name, nor answer how old they were. Dakota was rambling about the kids and made several spontaneous utterances about the condition of the home, the boys, and then that bit's blanked out. Yeah, the fact there was so much dried up that it was crunching, again, that hasn't happened in a short period of time. That's taken weeks or months.
Can I ask you a question? You're her mom? You're her mom? Have you ever, like, how often do you go inside their apartment?
Usually about once a week or so. I don't visit very often. I work 2 jobs, so.
Do you see that window right there? It's kind of like got stuff smeared on it. Do you know that that's human? That room is completely caked in it. Not to mention the entire house is absolutely filthy and disgusting. Just horrendous.
They're in the middle of potty training.
Look, there is no excuse.
I was going to say, there was very little reaction from this mum. Like, not only did she know, but she didn't care, or like there was no like, what? Wait. No, I don't normally go upstairs. She took the information in and just nodded. It's very solemn. She could be in denial about how bad her child is, because like that's the least, but there's a possibility she was complicit in it, especially if she's excusing their behavior. Hello.
There's no excuse for this. This is a felony crime what's occurring right now. Well, he wasn't.
You can't take my wife. You can't. Okay.
You guys should never have had kids, and you should never, ever, ever be around children ever again. Or animals, for that matter.
That's potty training needs to love me. They're fed, they're taken care of, I promise.
They're clearly neglected.
Kill him. I told him to clean.
This is the thing, she's wearing like a Lilo and Stitch t-shirt. You could read into that the fact that like maybe she's very like childlike herself, like maybe she, like I say, maybe they've had kids way too young, especially 3, and because of that, like they're still children themselves, and therefore that's why they're not being very responsible or accountable, etc. But it could also be that because they really just don't take care of themselves, she could just be like going to pick up her kid from parents' nursery, wherever it was, or sorry, going to pick up her glasses even, in her pajamas for all I know, because I still have like Disney pajamas. I don't really want to judge what she's wearing, even though I could see what people would say in that manner about what she's wearing.
One officer writes that the couple's 11-month-old daughter had what appeared to be cockroach droppings in the creases of her hips and a diaper in dire need of changing.
I at least thought I at least thought that the fucking baby that was likely his would be treated better, because I thought this maybe was like a stepdad treats the other kids from a previous marriage differently compared to... Wow. I'm astounded. And again, what the fuck is this, like, grandmother doing?
Would you also be willing to sign a electronic search waiver for any electronics we discover along the process, cell phones, computers, things like that, tablets?
I mean, like,
Huh?
as in for what?
He has shit to hide. 100%. I'm drinking a lemon and mint San Pellegrino. It's really tasty.
As in like cell phones, computers, security devices.
Suppose, but there's not really gonna be anything on them.
But there's. He has to stop himself from whatever he was going to say then.
Suppose, but there's...
Do you notice he stopped himself there and then had to defend himself? Oh, it's not like there'll be anything on them.
When she hears about her husband's reluctance, Aubriana has some choice words.
Okay. Dakota doesn't seem like he wants to sign the electronic search waiver.
That's because he knows he got to hide on there.
What does he got to hide?
Lying, cheating bastard.
No one gives a shit if he's cheating on you. People give a shit if there's evidence that he knew he was neglecting or, like, abusing. You know, there could be anything going on in that fucking house to those children. But especially, like, normally in these kind of circumstances, there is drug paraphernalia around as well. So I'm surprised that hasn't come up yet. Just because in the situation I talked about before, like I say, there was, like, drinking and weed smoking and stuff like that. You see that sort of stuff a lot with these kind of child neglect cases, so I wouldn't be surprised if it was similar.
He's just a lying, cheating bastard.
Well, why are you with him?
Because I haven't had the money yet to move out.
You can always, it's free to move out.
Once again left on their own, Dakota and Aubriana criticize the way the police are treating the children while insisting on their own innocence.
The audacity, the fucking audacity to say that the police are, like, mistreating your children when you have them locked in a room covered in shit with no fucking furniture for them to sleep on. They have to sleep on the floor with no clothes on, and to get out of the room, they've been so clearly desperate, they've clawed at the carpet and door. The fucking audacity.
No. Why are you leaving my kid on the road? Why are you asking questions?
Why are you leaving my kid in the road? I guarantee he was probably with someone. Probably waiting for child services.
Big time train. What are you doing?
I've never been abused. Ever.
The fact you have to say that. The fact you have to defend that. Also, this is abuse. Period.
According to the police report, the two boys appeared to be in shock as they looked around outside, touching the grass and trees as if they didn't know what they were.
I remained with the children until Oklahoma City fire personnel arrived on the scene to check their vitals. Blank and blank were allowed to play, I'm guessing that's play, in the grassy area of the apartments after they were checked by fire personnel. Watching blank and blank in the grassy area, it appears as if they were in shock. They were looking at the grass and tree and were slowly touching them as if they did not know what they were. They've never been let outside before. That's what I'm saying. I guarantee these kids have been locked in that room for a long time. As one of the firefighters spoke to the boys and moved a branch on the tree, both blank and blank were amazed and laughing hysterically. After detectives and DHS arrived on the scene, it was determined the children needed to be checked out by a medical professional. I was instructed by detectives to follow the ambulance to Blank Hospital, where they would be evaluated. Upon arrival to the hospital, the children were cleaned up and cared for. I was released from the hospital when DHS child specialists arrived and took custody for the children.
In their separate police cars, Dakota and Aubriana do not seem ready to accept responsibility.
These are people that have never taken responsibility for their actions in their life. Like I say, you can tell by the way the mum was protecting and excusing her daughter's behaviour.
Just stop being so nosy.
Oh my God, I hope he goes to prison.
They know nothing of us.
You clearly never taken your kid into the grass outside play, ever. You never taken them to a park. Clearly don't give them baths. Don't, like, interact with them. The fucking audacity of this boy. Because he ain't no fucking man.
I know who the f it was. Stupid Mexican lady.
And racism on top of this, all because you neglected your children.
All Aubrey asked to see her brother, and you wouldn't even do that.
Those kids, they said, were likely developmentally to be behind where they would have been if they'd been able to be socialized or gone to school and stuff like that. The environment, even like taking away everything else, the environment of these adults in this situation create a terrible precedent for those children.
When the two are questioned separately, they give conflicting stories. While Aubriana says that the two boys would spend a maximum of 2 hours a day in the upstairs room, Dakota tells investigators that they're locked in the room for at least 12 hours a day and overnight to, quote, keep the kids safe due to the neighborhood.
12 straight hours. Wow. That's probably an understatement too. Especially as those kids didn't know how to interact with anything downstairs. They didn't know how to interact with trees or grass outside. Those kids 100% were locked in that room 24 hours a day.
Hours later, the couple is reunited at the jail for processing, where they will be booked on 3 charges each of felony child neglect.
Told you she was probably wearing her pajamas. Those look like pajama bottoms to me.
Both 22-year-old Aubriana Freeman and 24-year-old Dakota Dodd pled not guilty to the charges.
How is she smirking? That mouth shrug. That was a big mouth shrug.
And are currently out on bond as their case proceeds.
How are they out on bond?
According to the police report, the children were checked out at a local hospital and at least temporarily taken into DHS custody. In his interview with investigators, Dakota acknowledged that the kids would possibly be better off there.
I'm sorry, the way she was like happily giddy going to processing. Jesus Christ. The person that called for the wellness check, thank you. Imagine the number of kids that lived like this without anyone checking on them. That's what I'm saying. I know someone who's seen that. The fact that stepdad didn't even know where the kids' clothing was probably meant they spent most of their lives naked, locked in the room without beds. His story about the beds being torn apart made no sense. The grandmother needs to be charged too. That's what I'm saying. She had no reaction. She knew. The constant blaming of the husband for not cleaning is beyond pathetic. That doesn't get that bad in a day. That's months, if not years, of neglect from every adult in that house. I live in a literal farm. My chickens live in a cleaner space than those poor children. The claw marks on the door, lack of beds and clothes, the way the parents speak, it's all heartbreaking. The problem is that these kind of people are not held to account. Obviously, this happened in America. It has been proven time and time and time again that even though these fucking pro-lifers call themselves pro-life, they do nothing to protect kids in any way, shape, or form. Because people like this are not put in prison. There is no deterrent for them. And people that actually harm kids, whether it's, school shooters or whether it's people that assault children, it's really hard sometimes to do these videos, although I know you guys enjoy them, because the world is so fucked up right now in so many ways. The US is going so far back in time. I cry every time I see anyone malnourished and struggling, if not dying, from man-made famine in Gaza. The fact that Israel doesn't want planes shooting anything above air because they know what they've done to Gaza. The fact the West Bank, Israel's going to annex it, and that's not even covering like the fucking Sudan or Ukraine, or there's so much going on in the world right now, and it is so heartbreaking. That's why I'm only going to do probably one of these once a month, because my heart breaks enough already, and I think we need sometimes something lighter to just get through the day. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm sorry I had to end it on a bit of a worse note, but I will be posting. I hope you guys are keeping well, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye.